Sedimentary rocks. Describe how sedimentary rocks are formed. Explain how the fossil record gives us clues about the past. Explain the properties of sedimentary rocks. So, sedimentary rocks are formed over thousands or millions of years. And they have a layered structure. So the rocks will undergo weathering and erosion, so bits will break off and be transported by wind or water. And then when the river or sea currents slow down, the rocks, pebbles and sediments drop to the seabed, and this is known as deposition. And then over millions of years, they are buried under more sediments, and then the weight of the upper layers of sediment compacts and cements the sediments to form sedimentary rocks. So millions of years, upper layers compact and cement, put pressure on it, and it turns into sedimentary rocks. So the features of sedimentary rocks are they are crumbly, they are found in layers known as strata, they can contain fossils. So some examples, you've got sandstone, which is made of sand. Limestone, which is made of shells and skeletons of marine organisms. Shale and mudstone, which is made of silt and clay that are too small to be seen by the naked eye. Conglomerate, which is made of smooth pebbles. Okay, just a little bit about fossils. So a fossil is the preserved remains of dead organisms, and they give us clues about the environment that the rock formed in. So fossils form when dead organisms get covered in sediment and before they can actually start to decay. And if the covering sediments get changed into sedimentary rocks, the remains of the animal can turn into rock, but they keep their original shape. So how can fossils actually form? So there are many different ways. So some examples are the hard parts of the body, like the shells or the bones, can be covered by sediments and then replaced by minerals in the water. That's known as mineral replacement. Softer parts of the plants or animals can form casts or impressions, so dinosaur footprints, etc., that are imprinted into the rock. Another way is dead plants and animals can be preserved in amber, which is from tree sap, or tar pits. Okay, now looking at weathering. So rocks are gradually weathered. Acid rain causes chemical weathering. It dissolves rocks such as marble and limestone. But another type of weathering can be by waves, which bash against the rocks and eventually cause the rocks to crumble apart. Fast water on rivers or strong waves on beaches pick up the rocks and knock off the sharp edges of the rocks, so eventually they become weathered, and it turns them into smooth weathered rocks. And then when the weathered rock is deposited on the seabed, water can run through the sediment and minerals in the water crystallise between the rock particles and cement them together. Now looking at freeze-thaw weathering. So freeze-thaw weathering is when water seeps into the cracks in the rock and then freezes overnight. And as it freezes, it expands, breaking the rock apart. So this can repeat over many days. So the process of freezing, expanding, and then melting, etc. Eventually, they'll actually break apart the rock. Other types of weathering. Tree roots can also gradually break rocks apart as they grow, and some living organisms such as bacteria and algae produce chemicals that can react with the rock and break it up as well. So that is a summary of sedimentary rocks.